Juan here. Today we are going to talk about what are customer segments and how to define customer segments. So not all your customers are always going to be the same. They are not going to be always having the same needs and they are not going to have the same problems. So we will talk about how creating customer segments is going to help you defining the way that you're going to talk with your customers, defining the value that you're creating for those customers, creating the strategies to be able to tackle the problems that those customers are having and adding value to them. And finally, stay focused, making sure that you are targeting the right problems for the right audience that is your customer segments. Let's do this. So first of all, why do we need customer segments? So we need customer segments because, well, not all your customers are the same. Just think, for example, about different type of products like computers, phones, tablets. The way that people use them is very different all the time. So that doesn't mean that you will have only one customer type. In reality, people are going to use your products in many different ways. So you have to try to identify what are those ways that they are going to use the products, what are the problems that you are solving for these people, and how are you going to be speaking then to these different type of people. So for example, if you think about the computers, when you are using a computer, you can be using a computer, for example, for work. So depends on your work, your computer is going to have certain requirements or another ones. So if you use it just for emailing, presentations, documents, you might not need a very powerful laptop or Mac. But if you are actually doing video editing, or if you are doing 3D rendering, or if you are doing coding, programming, then you're going to need another type of computer. Of course, if you are a gamer, then you're going to have a very different requirement set because you are looking more into 3D rendering, graphics, and very heavy usage of the GPU. So all these different type of users would define your different customer segments when you have a product such as a computer. In this case, we would talk about people that are using it for light work, people that are using it for programming, or people that will be using it for rendering, for example. And then you have people that are going to use it for gaming. So the needs that these different customer segments are going to have are going to be very different. So you will have to find out which ones of these customer segments are going to be my customers. So in reality, there's never going to be one solution fits all. If you try to do something that addresses all, it might be too powerful, it might be too expensive, it might be the people that doesn't need it, that doesn't need all the features. They just don't want to pay so much for it. They're going to go for cheaper solutions. The same goes in the other way around. If you try to go for the bare minimum, then might be that it's not enough for those people that need the very high-end requirements. So you will have to define which one are these customers that you are going to try to solve the problems to. Is it the three of them, or is it just one of the groups? If it's just one of the groups, if you decide to do computers for gaming, then you know that what are the requirements that those gamers are going to have. And even within gamers, you're going to have customer segmentations anyways. But this will give you the first steps of how to break down the different customer types that you're going to address, which ones you are not going to address at all, and you have to understand that those are problems that you don't have to solve, and which ones are the ones that you are going to focus more heavily on. So once you have a clear understanding of what are the customer segments that you are going to be working with, then you will have to work in what are the strategies that you are going to have to build in order to address these different customer segments. One of the things that you also have to have in mind is that there's going to be customers that are going to use your products that are not within these customer segments. And you have to understand that this exists and probably build a separate customer segment for them, or just have it in mind that whenever you build your strategies, these people are not going to be so heavily taken into account. But once we build these different customer segments, then we know what kind of strategies we are going to have to build in order to be able to tackle. So once you have your customer segments defined, once you have defined your strategies to address these customer segments, you also have to have what is the marketing that you are going to have, what are the marketing strategies that you're going to have with these different customers. So you will have to define what are the different ways of promoting your products to these different customer groups. In the end, you're never going to talk the same way to a student that you're going to talk to a programmer, that you're going to talk to a office worker, that you will talk to a gamer. You will have to build your messages around the different strategies and the different sets of features that you will have in the different products to serve these users and solve the problems that they are having. This will give you what are the messaging strategies that you will have to build in the different customer segments or customer groups. Why do you want to do this? Well, we all want to actually feel like we are understood by the people or the products that are selling to us. For me, as a potential customer or potential user, I'm going to be always much more prone to go for solutions that feel like they understand the problems I might be having or the needs I might be having and are addressing them in a certain way. But if they are not able to talk to me and they talk in a very generic way where they're trying to solve the problem for everybody, I might just ignore it because I might not even consider myself as part of that customer segment. So this is why it's very important to build promotion around the different customer segments so people understand that we are talking to them and not talking to just everybody. So you feel as a user that you are understood, and then you are more prone to listen and to actually consider this product as a potential one for use in the future. An interesting note on how to promote products. Recently I watched a video on YouTube, I'll link it down here. So basically this is a company that is building skateboards that behave as a surfboard. So initially they started messaging this as a normal skateboard, and they noticed that they were not getting traction, that people were not getting interested in these boards. So then they noticed, after many tries and apparently quite a bit of time, they noticed that maybe they were not messaging to the correct people, and they started to try to talk just to surfers and to show it to surfers and give them a try. And then when they started trying it themselves, those surfers, they noticed that these skateboards behave much more like a surfboard. So then they actually found that people that were into surf were much more interested in this type of skateboards than just your regular skateboard, which didn't find these skateboards interesting at all. So this is one of the reasons why it's very, very important to have a proper messaging for the different customer segments that you have, and also defining very well which ones are the customer segments that you are serving. Another benefit of defining your customer segments is going to be to keep the focus. So you want to keep focus in whatever projects that you are doing. You never want to start digressing and get away from your vision. If you have defined your customer segments, if you have defined their strategies to be able to tackle those customer segments, it's going to be much easier to stay focused and deliver value to these people instead of just trying to address potential new customer segments that are away from the ones that you have defined as your core. And yes, bear in mind that sometimes in the future, while you grow, you might be able to add new customer segments. But what you don't want to do, especially when you are small, you don't want to try to tackle every single customer segment, because that's going to dilute all your efforts throughout different types of needs. And in the end, you are never going to be able to solve any of them properly. So it's better that you concentrate on whatever are your 3-4 customer segments and actually bring value to those people. Later on in the future, if you grow, if you have the manpower, you might be able to add new customer segments. And this again is something that it has to be adopted slowly and progressively, so you are able to onboard these new customer segments properly into your products. And why do I say this? Well, we all have been there, where you start to chase new sales, where you start to try to just get new customers by offering new features in the product, which are not features that are needed by the customer segments that you have defined as your core customer segments. And it's important that you continue growing and cater those customers that have been your core customers, that you will provide value and benefits to. And you don't want to start digressing into new type of customers without any good reason to do that. Just a low-hanging fruit, just a new sale is not a good reason to add a new feature that is not going to value or benefit the rest of your customers. And a little bit of a bonus one that I didn't talk in the beginning is use your data. Use always all the data that you have available to be able to identify, to build these strategies, to build these messages for the different customer segments. Remember that if you have all the technology in place to track the usage of your software, that if you have the technology to track all the different sales that you are having, if you are having the technologies to track the actual usage of the software, not just how many times it's started, but how the people are engaging with the software or your products. This is going to give you very important information on how users are using your products. And being able to do this is already going to show you how these different customer segments are using your products, how much these different customer segments are investing in your products. It might be that the ones that are the heavier users of your products are not the ones that are bringing the most revenue into your company. So it's very important to compare all the data sources that you have available in the company, trying to understand and have a very good holistic understanding of how these different customer segments behave and how important are they for your company, because there is going to be always some kind of surprise. Many times people or companies use data just to enforce the known unknowns. So things that we guess, but we probably are sure that we are providing this value. But there's going to be quite many unknown unknowns about your customer segments, about the usage of your product that you actually don't know, because you never are able to talk with everybody and you never get all the information when you talk with the different customers. So being able to have this data, being able to track, for example, the different features that they bring different value to different customer segments, this is going to give you a very good profile of what these customer segments are, how they are behaving, and how important are they for your business. So a quick summary on how to define your customer segments. First of all, being able to define customer segments is going to help you understand the needs of these customers, is going to help you build the strategies to address these customers. Second, is going to help you promoting your products to the different types of customer segments that you are addressing. Third, is going to help you keep the focus of your development of the people that are working with you and trying to address the problems of these people, trying to message to them correctly and not to go to after every low-hanging fruit that is out there. And finally, as a bonus, always use all the data that you have available in your company, whether it's software analytics, or if it's sales information, or if it's marketing campaigns, for example, that you get from social media. This is going to be key in order to help you actually building and rounding these very rough customer segments that you build initially and validate it with data on how people are using your products in reality. So how about you? Do you actually build customer segments in your company? Do you have them properly defined? Do you have strategies built in order to tackle their needs? Do you build those promotion campaigns? Please comment below and let us know. And as always, if you like the video, like and subscribe. It helps massively the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Stay safe.